Before we get into the episode, I am thrilled to announce that the EntreMD Business School is open for enrollment. The EntreMD Business School is the only school of its kind for physicians who want to build 6, 7, and multiple 7-figure businesses. Over the last 2 years, we have had hundreds of doctors go through the school with unbelievable results. Some of them run brands, some of them run private practices, some of them are coaches, some have other kinds of service-based businesses or product-based businesses. And we've had people come in and cross the 6-figure milestone, cross the 7-figure milestone, cross the multiple 7-figure milestone. You will be in a place where you'll get the coaching, the community, the accountability that you need to thrive as an entrepreneur, especially in the times that we're in. So maybe you've been following me for a while. Maybe you've been getting so much out of the EntreMD podcast and you've been wondering, how can I work with Dr. Una and the community more? Well, this is your chance. Come join us in the EntreMD Business School. It is application only. So go to entremd.com/business to turn in your application. I cannot tell you how many doctors have made statements like this. I recovered my investment in the first week. I recovered my investment in my bank account in the first 90 days. This is the best investment I've made in myself ever. I want you to have that kind of story, not just a story of building a great business that serves a lot and earns a lot, but having a business that gives you the freedom to live life on your terms. So don't wait any longer. entremd.com/business. And now for the episode. Hi, docs. Welcome to the EntreMD podcast, where it's all about helping amazing physicians just like you embrace entrepreneurship so you can have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on your terms. I'm your host, Dr. Una. Well, hello, friend. Welcome back to another episode of the EntreMD podcast. I hope you are ready because we are about to have a complete blast. I just got back from Dallas. I was there with my mom and my 4 kids. We were there for about 5 days and we had a really, really great time. We were at the Omni. They did group breakfast for the group that we were with. So one of the mornings I was down with my family. And the convention center where we were meeting was pretty cold. And my 8-year-old, like all good 8-year-olds, had forgotten her jacket. And she was trying to convince me that she was really warm and stuff like that and didn't need a jacket. But needless to say, I've done this 4 times, so I know better. And so I grabbed their room card and went back up to their room to go get her jacket. And as I got out of the elevator and started walking down the hall, I walked past this guy, probably like 6'4" or so. And he was like, "Hey, excuse me, miss." And I was the only one in the hallway. So I turned back and he's like, "Where can I find extra towels?" And so it took me a second, but I was like, "Oh, he thinks I'm part of the cleaning crew and stuff like that." And I was like, well, I looked at him and I smiled and shrugged my shoulders and I was like, there's no way I would know, right? So that's what I said. And I kind of walked away. And as I went off, I thought about it. And this is literally where my mind went. And this is a business conversation. So I want to kind of lean into this, right? I was like, so when I walked by, what he saw was cleaning lady. But the fact is that I am this person who could be, and now this is me playing in my mind, playing the scenario, like playing that he's an entrepreneur, for instance, that I could be one of the best things that ever happened to him if he knew who I was, right? And so the person walking by him is not a cleaning lady. The person walking by him is somebody who is a serial entrepreneur, is someone who owns multiple businesses in different stages, 7-figure, multiple 7-figure, multiple 6-figure, all kinds of stuff, is somebody who can rock stages, is somebody who is a podcaster whose podcast has over 500,000 downloads, is somebody who's written a best-selling book, 2 best-selling books, is somebody who has trained multiple people on how to build very successful 6, 7, multiple 7-figure businesses, is someone who is an investor. And to think that all of that was deceptive, was housed in something, a body, right? That when you saw, all you could think of was cleaning lady, right? I had my jeans and t-shirt, which is my default dress mode. And I was like, what a loss, right? Like, so for instance, if he had a business that was doing six figures, I could sit with him in 30 minutes and show him how to take it to seven figures and not break a sweat. That's my superpower, right? Like I can show him how to do that. I can show him the obstacles he'll face and prepare him ahead of time so that he'll be able to crush it. And all he could see was cleaning lady. That's all he could see. And it took me back to the very first EntreMD live we did in 2019. And I said that humans are like dirt. And by dirt, I mean like the ground, the earth, sand. I'm like, human beings are like dirt. Like if you drill in, if it's in certain places in South Africa, you'll find diamonds. Some other parts of the world, you'll find gold. In a country like Nigeria, you will find oil. And these are all multi-billion-dollar treasures. But when you walk on the ground, it's just ground. It's just dirt. It's just sand, right? But there are treasures in it. And so I was telling them, I was like, when you have opportunities to network and build relationships and those kind of things, understand that you cannot judge a book by the cover. You have to be curious. You have to know about people. You have to respect people. You have to wonder, is this the ground that has the diamond in it? Is this the one that has the gold in it? Is this the one that has that? Making it even more practical. Is this a person who knows the people I've been trying to meet with? Is this a person who has the answer to the question that I've had on my mind for the last 5 months? Is this a person who could coach me to where I'm trying to go? Is this a person whose friendship would ground me, right? And so I was like, they're like dirt. You can't make that assumption. So for the guy, I was like, wow, if we look at it as and I know a lot of the things I was thinking about him being an entrepreneur, I'm just making that stuff up, right? But this is just me analyzing it. And I was like, he may have been going all year long, crying and asking and praying. And it's like, I'm struggling. And we could have had a conversation and he could have had the answer to what he wanted. And he could hit that seven figures or multiple seven figures or whatever. So the way I look at it is, again, this is me making up part of the story, right? Because I don't know that he's an entrepreneur. I don't know any of those things, right? But technically, he could have lost $1 million because when he looked at me, he saw cleaning lady. Okay? Now, you might be outraged right now going like, what is wrong with him? What is wrong with people? But I've learned to learn lessons for myself and not learn lessons for people. Okay? Because learning lessons for people does nothing. Number one, they're not paying attention to you. And then two, you missed out on the lesson, right? So I learned lessons for me. So immediately what I started doing, which is what I want to invite you to do today, is I started doing an audit. Okay? How do I perceive people? Perceiving people wrongly is too expensive. It's too expensive. It's a really bad habit and it's a very expensive bad habit. So how do I perceive people? Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the audit I did, and then you can think of how do I need to do this audit for myself? Okay, all right. So one of the things I thought about is how do I perceive my clients, right? Do I see them as beneath me? Do I see them as, oh, you haven't even done six figures, you have nothing to offer? Do I see them that way? Or do I see them as valuable assets? And I will be honest with you, I see my clients as valuable assets. I have so much respect for my clients. It doesn't matter what stage of business they're in. I have so much respect for them. I'm truly curious to learn about what they're doing in their businesses and how it's playing out. I learn things from them. I teach them a lot. I learn a lot. I learn a lot from watching them. I learn a lot from watching their habits. I have had the blessing of having clients who are able to connect me to things that I'd been looking for, or they had answers to questions that I didn't have the answers to. And that is all an offshoot from being able to see people and respect them. Not making the assumption I'm better because maybe I have a bigger business, or I'm better because I'm further along. No, humans have so much value. So I had to look like, how do I perceive my clients? Do I perceive them as a quote unquote cleaning lady beneath me? They don't have anything to offer? Or do I look at them and have respect and stay curious, knowing that, humans can change your life. One piece of information, one connection. I've told this on the podcast before of somebody who posted in her group, like, hey, this is Dr. Una. This is the kind of business she's built. She's amazing. Let's support her. And I got so many paid speaking gigs out of that one post. I got so many guest coaching spots out of that one post. I got so many clients out of that one post. What if I treated her like the cleaning lady? Right? What if I did that? Okay, so, and I didn't ask her to do the post. I had never seen her do that before. I don't know what happened, but I can trace hundreds of thousands of dollars to that one post. So my clients, my colleagues, so this example I gave was a colleague, like how I had to do an audit. Do I see them as the cleaning ladies? Or do I see them as the cleaning gentlemen, right? Or do I see them as people who have so much value and I'm willing to respect them and stay curious enough? And if a win-win situation presents itself, then we take it, right? So clients, colleagues, and then the third is mentors. And I think this is critical. Sometimes we get fascinated by people, right? Like, oh man, I get to work with this person or whatever because it's new, it's shiny. And after you've worked with them for a while, they become common. And you might go like, well, she's going to teach this. I know what she's going to say. Or I've heard that before. Or they don't have anything to offer me. Or whatever that is, right? And the truth of the matter is, the second you position yourself that way with a mentor, is kind of like a cup being at the same level as a faucet. You can't get anything out of them. So do you perceive them as they have nothing to offer me? Or do you stop and say, this person's light years ahead of me? I want to learn what they have. I'm going to treat them with enough respect and I'm going to stay curious enough till I learn what they have, right? Or have they become the cleaning lady? I remember a mentor I worked with, and she had a method of growing her business that it wasn't like ethically incorrect or anything like that. But for me, I had never done that. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, this person has built a business that is at least 20 times the size of your business. Okay. This person is faithful to come and show you all the things that she's doing. You've built your business to where you've built it, and you know you don't have what it takes to take it to 20 times because you don't know how to do that, right? And so if that's the case, the least you can do is be humble, stay curious, learn, and experiment, right? Like I had to have this whole come to Jesus meeting with myself. Like, what are you doing? Like you're fighting for what you know, but you know what you know is not going to take you to where you want to go. So why are you fighting? And so the reason why I brought this up and the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because it is possible that we are in positions where we are losing millions of dollars, not because we don't have a strong work ethic, but because we don't know how to perceive people properly. We don't know how to do that. Okay. And I hope this has kind of opened your mind and has set you up where maybe you're going to do your audit. What is my perception of my colleagues? What is my perception of my mentors? What is my perception of my clients? What is my perception, right? How do I treat people? When I go to a networking event, am I like, all these people, I don't have time to talk to them. I only talk to the speakers or to the people who are known. Or are you also, do you just stay respectful? These are fellow humans And again, they're like dirt. You don't know. I've even been in containers where somebody's talking about their struggles to cross their first six figures, and people would write them off, not realizing that this person is running an 8-figure business, but they started a completely different kind of business and they're trying to get to their first six figures. And so you've written off somebody who in a 5-minute conversation, they can solve like 20% of the problems you have in your business, right? Just because you just write people, like if you have a habit of writing people off, then just decide to stop. Decide to respect people and be curious. Does that mean everybody will be a gift to you? No. Does that mean make everybody your best friend? No. It doesn't mean any of those things, right? But when you see somebody walking down the hallway, the proverbial hallway, right? Don't think the person's a cleaning lady. Be respectful and be curious. So for him, his loss, and I wasn't mad or anything. Like I have so much to do. I don't have the bandwidth to be mad. But these are the thoughts that did come out from that. And so I want us to practice that. Be curious. Remember, every human is like dirt. We don't know. They may be nothing but dirt on the inside, but there may be diamonds. There may be gold. There may be crude oil. Who knows? We don't know. And if we're not respectful and curious, we'll never know, right? Okay. So I want you to practice that as you go about your day, at your next networking event, the next time you're on a group call. If you're in a container, like if you're listening to this and you're in the EntreMD Business School, it's a trap to think I've crossed 6-7 figures. So the people who are six figures, they're beneath me or any of those kind of things is such a trap. Stay respectful. Stay curious. They may not even have any answers to give you because, yes, maybe they may not be at your level of business, but they may have one connection, one referral for you, right? That will rock your world. Change. They may do one post that will lead to hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And they may not be at 7 figures, but they may be better at hiring, or they may be better at getting in clients through social media, or they may be better at like networking and getting speaking gigs and stuff. You gotta stay curious, respectful and curious. Okay. So practice that all day, practice that on social media, practice that in networking events, practice that when you go to speak, practice that with your clients. If you serve people, I want to really invite you to not look down on the people you serve. You never know. Right? So stay respectful, stay curious, and share this episode with another doctor. I think this is one of those, it's a soft skill, if you will, but it's something that can really change your world. Because I'll end it with this. I remember listening to this was on YouTube. It was an interview. And the guy being interviewed said he has had the pleasure of meeting 2 billionaires in person. And so he asked the billionaire, he said, what is the difference between billionaires and millionaires? And he said that millionaires focus on ideas and implementation. And I remember on that day saying, well, yes, that's what millionaires should do. He said, billionaires focus on collaboration. And I remember thinking that day, I was like, you know what? I'm not at a billion or anything like that, but if that's what billionaires focus on, why don't I add that to ideas and implementation, right? And so people who are billionaires, if they prioritize people, right, and what can happen through people and all of those kind of things, then it's something that we also want to adopt if we are going to build businesses that are innovative, that are going to help a lot of people, that are going to create financial freedom. People change your world. Oh my goodness. People will change your world. And the starting point of that is being very respectful of people and be very curious, because you're like, humans are like dirt. I wonder what I'll find in this dirt. Okay. All right. So share this episode with another doc, and I'll see you on the next episode of the EntreMD podcast. Hey, if you love listening to the EntreMD podcast, I want to invite you to join EntreMD On Demand. It is my signature subscription program that gives you access to a library of business courses designed to help you do one thing as a physician entrepreneur, and that is to thrive. Just head out to entremd.com/on-demand, and I'd love to have you join us. See you on the inside.